Alright folks, I have just been informed that we are ready to go, so let us kick off this marathon. It is time for The Legend of Zelda Majora's Mask 3D by JagsyRedPanda. Take it away. You're live.
Hello. There we go. Caught up then. Hi. Good afternoon or good morning if you're elsewhere in the world. Thank you so much for having me open up. What a way to open the marathon with the classic menu music. If it's okay, I'm going to go straight into this because we've got quite the long introduction if you're familiar with the game. So, if we start the timer in 3, 2, 1, go. So, if you're not familiar with this game, you're missing out, just putting it out there. This is a 3DS remake of a very, very, very old Legend of Zelda game, much before they messed about with the open world in Breath of the Wild. It was made for the N64 back in the year 2000, and then they remade it again in 2015. It is played on a real 3DS. I have my real 3DS here with my real cables and my real hands. Unfortunately, the one thing that everyone knows about this game is it does have quite the long opening. To paraphrase it, because we're going to be going over it very quickly, at the end of Ocarina of Time, Link loses Navi and for some reason decided to go after her. I don't think I'd have made the same decision. Depends where you read what happened, he ends up in Termina. The lore states different ways he got there. Including some weird stuff about the 5 cycles of grief. Riding through the woods, we're going to get mugged, for lack of a better word, and that's going to kick off what's known very famously as the first cycle, which is a period of the game of about 25 minutes where we have to basically try and get to the clock tower at midnight and try and meet Skull Kid, but obviously we're going to do that as quickly as possible. The unfortunate mugging event. So yes, this run has some interesting tricks. If you're ever familiar with the original Majora's Mask, it doesn't look anything like it as a speedrun. Doesn't look anything like it at all. There's many different tricks. We have instant text for a start, which is a lot nicer. We have many different tricks that we can use that we're going to go over. The route looks completely different. We collect different things. Obviously, we fight Majora at the end, but if you're familiar with the original, it should be a very interesting run to watch in how different it is. And if you've never seen this game ran on 3DS, it's amazing what new tricks there are in there that weren't in the original one, and some ways we get around the map. Because basically, we treat it like an open world game. And my horse stolen. Kind of rude.
One thing that I'll be doing in the background is be timing the cutscenes to see how long we can actually cut out this game, if we could actually skip ones.
Oh yes. With me I have my co-commentator Rick McLeod, who has been doing the admin for my streams for many years and therefore has watched this game about as many times as I've played it.
Doesn't get boring for some reason. Don't know why. Just the magic.
I don't know if that's a compliment of me or the game. So we get the first little bit of gameplay, where I have to roll through this log and get up some steps. And then we're back in the cutscenes, as you do. You see Link's very fancy new jumps. If you see me looking up, I do have the 3DS in my hands, but I've got a projector of it on the screen up here. It's simply because I don't want to spend 2 hours sat here like this. I don't think it's very sociable, and that's how you probably end up with a bit of a sore back.
You for posture.
You can tell when a trick gets difficult, because that's when I'm going to go down here like this and be trying to stare at my 3DS screen. You counting this as a cutscene, Rick? I hope you're ready.
I'm counting it. Yep, it's. Yep. I had to pause it for a second for that brief moment of gameplay.
A riveting moment of gameplay. I have something about playing Zelda games with really long introductions with a load of cutscenes in. Somehow ends up being my go-to. Breath of the Wild, with the 20 minutes of cutscene to cutscene. Wind Waker, that's all cutscenes. This, all cutscenes. So what's happening here is Link is getting assaulted by some Deku Scrubs of some description, or he's getting cursed, I think is probably the more apt description. And we get turned into just a little dude, just a little Deku Scrub guy. It's insinuated later in the story, although we won't get to see it, that the Deku Scrub was another character's son, and he looks very familiar, which is pretty sad. This game is very sad generally, to be fair. Between the 3-day cycle and such like. If you've never watched or played or seen Majora's Mask, the core concept of the game is that the moon is going to crash in 3 days into the Termina and destroy it, and we have to do as much as possible, and then we can play the Song of Time and go all the way back, restart at day 1, and then we try and do even more. So as a casual player, you'd go to the first dungeon, and you might go back and go through, do the first dungeon, do it in bits. We're not going to do any of that. In fact, we're going to do the cycle so quickly, we're going to have to fast forward time twice in order to get to midnight to get into the tower to face Skull Kid. In between doing all 4 dungeons. Because you don't really do the dungeons the traditional way. And the nice thing we have about this game compared to the N64 one is because the text is all quick text, the language doesn't really matter. Apparently, I believe French-Canadian is about 4 seconds quicker. Just because there's 1 or 2 segments where you can't skip it properly. And that apparently makes it much quicker, but Japanese is slightly quicker again, but it's not really enough to be really imperative that you play in Japanese, unlike the N64 games where Japanese save a lot of time. Past this for that tree. And the other thing is that although it's a 3DS game, obviously you can't see the 3D effect. I can turn it on, but it just causes the game to get more pixely. It's very strange. And I must be honest, speedrunning the game with the 3D effect would probably be quite painful after a while, I would have thought.
One thing I'd like to ask is, would that induce any lag perhaps if you were doing it in 3D?
No. I think it's managed by the console rather than the game. But I don't know. I'm not a 3DS expert. So this is the Happy Mask salesman, who has many masks. He has the Mario mask.
Masks.
He does like his masks.
There's a Falco mask on there as well.
Yeah, there is. It's on the very left if you have a look when the text box goes. I don't think we get a good angle of that, actually.
Just saw it for a split second there. There you go, you can see it in the top right of the screen.
There is, on the original Majora's Mask, there is a category called All Star Fox Masks. So there are masks to signify every single, an animal based off every single Star Fox character, which I presume was on purpose.
They love. Well, actually, there was the R-wing that was put into the Ocarina of Time as a way to test the targeting.
Yes. It's impressive because this has got the Star Fox masks in it, which makes this game the most recent Star Fox game.
That's not strictly true. It's not that bad. I know Zero left a little bit to be desired, but they did the best with what they could. Actually, that's a lie. There was Starlink. Actually, that's probably the closest we've had to a Star Fox game.
We don't speak of that game. We don't. my feelings.
So if you play the game casually, you get the first 3 days where you can't get the Ocarina to go back in time. You can't leave Clock Town. There's not much you can do. So you have to go through a sequence of events where you catch up with the bombers, you get a code off them, you go get a Moon's Tear, you trade the Moon's Tear, you get up on the clock tower. There's a whole mini sequence of events that's supposed to teach you about all the ways the game works. I'm not going to do any of that, so I'm going to talk to Grandma here, who's going to put me to sleep for 24 hours to get to day 3. I'm going to spin aggressively at the door like a Beyblade. That's my plan. And then we're going to head all the way over to the other side of Clock Town, to the shop, where I can talk to the Scarecrow, and that's going to take me to night of the 3rd day. And then we'll just be waiting for midnight. Yeah. Get chased by a rather aggressive dog. Richard. Is it Richard in Ocarina of Time?
It is Richard, yeah.
Richard!
Richard, you came back! You got a bloopy. God damn it, randomizer!
I always feel like in the randomizer I always get something good from Richard.
Richard's usually not bad, yeah.
That is because it's the first real check you can do. Make sure to stay hydrated. So he leaves, for lack of a better word. And now we need to go all need to go back over to East Clocktown and get a stray fairy. So one technique you are going to see in the first part of the run is this backwalk. Backwalking is quicker than any other type of walking. But because we don't have notches on the 3DS control stick, what tends to happen is that you either start backwalk and you start doing some weird sideways crab walk. It's never really 100% which one you're going to get. But luckily right now the time doesn't actually matter because we've got to wait till midnight anyway. So we could, we got some time. We can stand and look at this very nice, very large bell they have on the roof of their inn. Well, we got all the time in the world. Wow. Up till midnight and then the world ends, but I'm sure it'll be fine. So I'm going to come into Andrew and Cafe's room and steal their life savings. And then I'm going to use it to go buy bombs. Well, what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to drop it in the bank. Because you can't use the bombs as Deku Link. You can buy them, but you can't use them. And there's a couple of different routes you can use on the morning of the 2nd day, depending how you want to do it. I prefer dropping the rupees in the bank and then going and buying the bombs and getting 20 bombs straight off. Because you don't really need a bomb refill then for the rest of the run.
And
we finally head over to North Clocktown.
And for those who aren't aware, the reason why you use the bank is so that when you go forward and backwards in time, you don't lose the rupees which you've picked up. Because obviously, if you pick up a load and you go back to day 1, you then lose them.
Yeah, Link essentially creates himself money by going back in time, which surely wouldn't drive inflation in Termina at all. He just magically goes to the bank and then magically goes, oh, I've got 5,000 rupees in here.
I'd be quite happy with that. Be like, thanks, future me.
I don't think that happened in Groundhog Day. So this fairy, very lovely lady, gives me magic powers, which lets me blow bubbles. Which is very important in a moment that is coming up in, if I'm approximating the time correctly, about 5 minutes? Now we scoot on back to South Clocktown, because now I have everything I need to go up to the tower. It doesn't look like it, because I don't have the Moon's Tear, I don't have the title deed, I've not even spoken with any of the bombers. So, it doesn't look like I've got everything I need, but I promise you I do. Because I can do a little trick that I think was in the original game, called Twisted Backflip. First one, I talk to this banker.
You did say banker, by the way.
I did say banker. So what I need to do is go up here. Slight backflip, and we're up on the tower already. And I've just got to wait for that to open. So I've got 3 hours in game. So if we got any messages from the host, now's a great time for them.
We have got a lovely set of donations coming through here for us. We have a massive $100 donation from Lacus, saying, for all the people I love who are affected by issues that Gate are working on, and as always, GNU the only kid. GNU only kid. And we also have a $10 donation from Race Pro UK as well, with no comment. And an anonymous $10 donation, also with no comment. Just want to remind you all as well that while you are donating, make sure you have a look at the targets, at the incentives that we have, as we do have the Suwako-chan Cubic Auto Bomb Only Challenge that is currently at $10 out of the $250 that we're looking for the challenge. And we're at $200 already, so thank you very much, everybody.
Excellent. You notice as well on the first cycle, there's it's aptly known, time does pass a lot quicker than the other cycles. I'm not sure exactly what the percentage is, but time is flying by. It must be because we're having fun. Standing staring at this door, waiting to go in. There is a way of leaving Clocktown on the first day. It's a very precise trick using a bomb and a Deku flower. And it's very risky. I wouldn't want to do it in a marathon setting for sure, but it does save a little bit of time later on, because we could just wander around. We can go get the Song of Soaring early. Let's see if there's a little text trigger skip here. If I get it. Perfect. It saves probably a few frames, but you know. It's the principle of the matter, I think.
Every second counts.
Literally every second.
That's the moon.
Yes. That moon would hit more than your eye.
It would leave a lot to be desired. It would pretty much destroy my face. With its face.
Yeah. I imagine it would hurt a bit.
By the way, just as a quick cutscene counter count, we've got 8 minutes of cutscenes so far.
Are we really?
Yep.
Good gracious.
It's going to get a lot higher before the end of this run.
Can you imagine if they ever remake this game again and they give cutscene skips?
It would be interesting to see.
So we hit him with a nose bubble, which is kind of gross to be honest, but he shouldn't have stole our stuff, frankly. And we get our lovely ocarina back. I actually have one of these ocarinas. I'm trying to think where it is now, actually. I think it's on the shelf behind me. No, it isn't. I was going to say I'll go grab her and give you a tune, but I don't think I will. I can't play it. If you want to hear a really poor rendition of Song of Storms, it's just... Yeah. Do the Mario speedrunner thing, where I'm just eating pizza whilst I'm playing. So yeah, we can play songs really quickly. In fact, it's possible to play the song so quickly, you can play an extra note by accident and the game doesn't count it. Because you can input them in frame perfectly, but it takes more time than that to detect you've done it. Yeah, see, in fact, you can see in a couple of VODs where, it sounds like I've played the song, but I've played it too quickly and I actually have to slow it down to get it. I just played the Song of Soaring, I just realised what I did. I did it and I was like, hang on. And the Song of Soaring is the teleport song, and we use it a lot. And I only did a run an hour and a half ago, it's stuck in my head. It's fine, it's time save for next run. I did. Finally broke that 150 barrier, which is quite a lot less than the estimate, which shows how little I trust myself, I guess. I think it's only one of 5 people to get under 150. And the quickest European runner, which is nice, although it's still a fair bit off world record. I've got a little while to go yet.
Hey, congratulations.
As you can see, I played the Song of Time, went back in time. Luckily, we don't have to do the first bit where I chase my horse again. I'm not really sure, like, there's a bit of argument about whether Link's just remembering that, and then he ends up here, or whether that actually happens and then he gets to this point. I'm more in favour of it being a memory, because I feel like Tattle would be like, maybe we shouldn't nick his ocarina. So to mash the buttons, I just have the 3DS on my lap, and I'm just mashing A and B together with 2 fingers. The true speedrunner masher method. The Song of Healing, surprisingly, probably the second most important, because the Song of Time I'm going to play it once. We do use the Song of Double Time to go forward, but we never bother slowing time down. There's a few categories where we do have to slow time down, most specifically in all masks. We have to slow time down, because we do need time to get everything, but we still do that in 3 cycles, including the first cycle. So, you know, there's it's not a very big game when you know what you're doing, and you do get a lot of time. So we get our first mask of 4 we get. Yeah. Yeah, go on. I don't think he's supposed to pick... How he picks him up and shakes him by the top of his shoulders, though, I think is particularly impressive. That's a lot of, like, dexterity grip, I feel like. Probably hurts a bit. But yeah, the Song of Healing is affectionately called the Song of Ripping People's Faces Off. Because we keep playing it and getting people's faces. Yeah. So yeah, we get the backstory, which is basically that the Happy Mask salesman was like, oh, there's a super dangerous mask in the world, I'm gonna go dig it up, and then it instantly got stolen. And he's like, maybe I shouldn't have done that. Not the wisest move in the world. Kind of the story of most things where they're like, I'm just gonna dig up this ancient evil, I'm sure it won't come back and cause a problem. Sure, it'll be fine.
I don't think that's ever happened in any video game, right?
No, you know, like the Divine Beast in Breath of the Wild, for example.
Oh,
that
yeah.
was fine.
We'll just go in and see these. These will be fine. Oh, no, never mind.
Although, whilst we wait for the cutscenes to finish, the audience can talk among themselves. Where did the Divine Beast go in Tears of the Kingdom?
I've just finished it, and I don't know.
I have 100. Oh my gosh, double bonk. I have 145 hours in it now. I'm at like 83%. Right, so I'm gonna just deposit. I'm gonna deposit by withdrawing. That's the plan. I'm gonna drop a save by there. I will explain why after I've done this one little bit, so I don't want to curse it. Although I'm gonna be saving throughout the run anyway, because you know I like to play it safe. I'm gonna go into the bomb shop by here. get me a nice bomb bag. Every randomizer player's dream is just instantly go get bombs. I have a redeem in my stream called Bonk, where it's 400 points and I will bonk. So a bunch of people got 3 bonks for free then. Good, you should appreciate this. And I'm going to be looking down in a second because I'm going to be doing the first trick of the run. To hopefully skip a 3-minute cutscene. So we'll do the back walk here, which is a lot quicker than rolling forward. Go into full concentration mode. Perfect. So that's called a bomb time stop. So essentially, the first thing to note about this game is that it's really easy to do frame perfect pausing. If you have the Circle Pad Pro, which my DS has built in naturally, when you press the home button, it actually takes a little bit of time for the game to kick back in. And in that time, you can get another pause in, which lets us stutter it. Which means that tricks that are frame perfect aren't as bad as like other games, because you could just do advances with the frame buffers. So for that trick, if I hit myself if I wait for a bomb to explode and then I pull out a second bomb, it'll trigger the second bomb to go off instantly, but Link's hands will still stay up in the air. So for a few frames, he can't do any other actions because his hands are still stuck, because the game thinks he should be holding a bomb, but obviously he isn't. During that, if at the same time I hold down the ocarina button, the ocarina button is a button on the touchscreen, and what's important to note is that a button on the touchscreen will take 2 frames to activate when you pull off. It takes 2 frames to detect that you've pulled it off, but actually pressing a button only takes 1 frame. So what we wanted to do there is we wanted to activate the ocarina at the same time as we press the R button to shield, which means that Link wanted to take out the ocarina, but he also wanted to use the shield, and the shield wins, thanks in part to the fact that the bomb explosion is still affecting us. So by frame buffering to a very specific frame, I can pull off the ocarina just as the bomb damage is ending and press the R trigger, and that'll give us the exact frame we need to go into that weird first-person glitchy view. And in that view, it's where the game kind of wants to be playing the ocarina but can't. And in that point, we can just walk past cutscene triggers. So now we're going to go over to Snowhead. Well, not Snowhead, we're going over to Mountain Village to get the Goron Mask. So ordinarily what you're supposed to do is you're supposed to go get the bow. So complete the first dungeon completely. And then you're supposed to come here, and you're supposed to shoot down a little icicle. But they made the terrain walkable, so we can just go around there.
Wow, it's like, no bow.
Yeah. Honestly, for casual play, if I went and picked up this game casually now, I would just do that anyway, because getting the Goron Mask early is so nice.
It's so fun to move around with.
The sign messed up my back walking thing, so I was like, which way am I going? I'm so used to doing that route backwards, I don't know how to do it forwards. So now we're in Mountain Village and we've got to go and get the Lens of Truth. But we only use the Lens of Truth once, and that's to see the Goron dude, and then we're going to pull his face off. And then we're going to get rid of it. I'm just going to save by here quickly. And as soon as I have the Goron mask, the backwalking will end. To actually be able to see where we're going. So I'm going to be attempting to do a trick by here. If I don't get it first time, I'll just do it the old-fashioned way. Where essentially I'm going to try and skip talking to the owl by doing a long jump. Essentially, if the bomb knocks me off the edge of a platform, I get a lot of extra distance. Like that. And I know where all the invisible platforms are, so I can just jump across them like that. Again, that first time in the marathon, outside I'm like, yeah, you know, that's cool. Inside I'm like...
It's like, please don't fall, please don't fall. That's very nice, though. Like, getting that jump is really cool.
So I'm going to go straight back now. And getting the Song of Soaring is exactly why we need to go to the swamp first. So we need to be able to walk back like that, because otherwise it would be agony to go all the way back.
See, it's quite funny, because obviously you're playing on 3DS here, and with the feed that I'm watching, I only have the top screen. I'm sitting there going, it's like, oh, you've got low health, I'm hearing it, but it's like, where's the HUD? It's like, oh yeah, you've got the second screen on you. God, the climbing is so
to be
fast.
fair, because it's down on my lap at the moment. I have no clue what hearts I have. I just know it's low. I haven't yet died in a run by not realizing I was low health, but I imagine I'll do it at some point.
Not today.
Maybe today. Maybe today. We'll see.
Not today. You got this.
Do a nice little backwalk to here. I've got another long cutscene if there's any more messages from the host. Oh, we get to watch this guy have a little bit of a cry about the people he's left behind. It is a very sad game.
I do remember the farm, and that's all I'm going to say at that.
Well, good you remember, because we're never going there.
Yeah. I'm quite glad.
We go there in glitchless, all masks and 100%, but for no wrong warp in all dungeons, we never have to worry about it. And hopefully, I will provide context about what wrong warp is, but I want to wait until I get the bottles, because we have to do a specific trick with the bottles, and it'll make more sense when I've done it. Yes, we've done a nice detour, we've got the Goron mask, and now I need to go back to the swamp again. I need to do one thing there, and then we'll leave again instantly. So the Song of Soaring pays off dividends, because we have to do quite a lot of this back and forth. It seems like it'd be quicker to stay in an area and do stuff, but it actually isn't. Because it's way quicker to have the Goron mask for this. So we'll have the unpleasant cutscene of Link screaming in presumably pain, which is uncomfortable to think about. Very good.
He becomes a large lad.
Big punchy boy. Pick up a Deku Nut. Just one Deku Nut. You'll see why in a moment. I also need to pick up a Deku Stick. So luckily I've memorised the pattern for the Lost Woods a long time ago. We're only day one, so if I come here another day, I'm in some trouble. Now we have the witch who's a bit suspicious, because if you're not human, she refuses to talk to you, which is a little shady. But she's like, I'm in a great deal of pain and trouble on the ground, but if you're a Goron, I simply don't want to talk to you, which is a little weird. You think her priorities would be, you know, get help, but, you know, some people are like that, I guess. So we need to talk to the other sister, and she'll give us a bottle. And the bottle is a very important item in this game. More important in the wrong warp categories, but we do definitely need it. There's no category that doesn't need a bottle. So we do always need to go through this and make sure we save the witch. Because the witch will give us another item as well, called the photo box, which, for reasons I will explain later, we call the missilograph. Oh, I'd love to know what's in the red potion. So, it's way quicker for me to actually walk back to the owl statue than it is to roll back over there. Because we can skip the warping cutscene as well. So now I'm going to do another trick, and I will be a little bit quiet for a moment whilst I... Oops. I didn't want to trigger the fairy there, I won't lie to you. Try that again. So a trick I'm attempting to do now is called ESS bottle duping. Basically, if I turn very slowly and press the bottle and an item at the same time, I'll actually duplicate the bottle onto where the item was. But it's a little bit finicky. So you hear that ding noise? Means I've done it right. Which is what we want to hear. Three for 3. And that gives me 4 bottles, which I will need. Let's save quickly here, because I'm attempting to do another little trick here. I need to get the witch to give me the camera, but I don't want to go on a tour, so what I've got to do is I've got to move all the way back. She'll give me the pictograph box by there, and I'll leave. Rather than go on a little sightseeing tour. And then we go back to Clocktown again, because now I have the 4 bottles. I need to go over and get the Zora mask. So I'm going to shove bombs on. Drop a save. So in order to get, if you've played this game before again, I want to go to Great Bay. And what you're supposed to have done is you're supposed to have not only completed the second temple, you're supposed to have done what's called the Goron race, get the bomb, go over, clear Romani Ranch, but instead I'm going to do this. No, it's too late on the pause. Okay, try that again. And that frame's really easy to see because it's the most red. And doing that bomb jump for the extra distance and then using a sword slash at the perfect time, I can get on top of the gate and get over it. And that'll get me into Great Bay. And that's why I say by this kind of feels like an open world game when you know the tricks, because it's really easy to just go across to different areas. And there is method to my madness on why I picked up a bottle full of bugs. We are from drowning. We're going to rescue a fish from drowning by taking him out to the water. I get my action per minutes up. And I'm going to play the song to tear his face off, because frankly I deserve an award for saving him from drowning, and I think he should give me his face. I healed him by taking his face as a trophy. We have a nice 1.5 minute long cutscene. If we have any messages from the host?
We do indeed. We've got a few more donations coming in. We have a $20 donation from Buglar that says it's good to donate to a good cause and get a nice round number into the pocket. Well, unfortunately that nice round number has been changed, as at the same time, Burglar, thank you for the $20, we have Cupcakes coming in with $20 saying, hello everyone, Internet Anti-Paxi here to check in. Have you hydrated recently? Had a snack? Hugged your favourite person today? If not, remember to do so when you can. Thanks to FPE for putting on another amazing event. I look forward to volunteering every year. Love you all.
I did remember to hydrate. I've got my hydration. It looks like a water bottle, but it's just full of like Monster and crushed caffeine pills. So now we've saved Zora. We have to go rescue his babies from the pirates. So there's 7 Zora eggs. 4 were taken by the pirates, and 3 were taken by some very big fish. So first I need to do that, and then that. So I'm going to put on the Gora mask, roll to the water, and then switch over to the Zora mask. Because the first time you go to put the mask on, it wants to play the screaming cutscene thing. But if you've already got a transformation mask on, it won't play it. That's what I landed. I knew it. It won't actually play the cutscene, so we just skip having to go through it. It's just one of those tiny little time saves. Also, very fair, Zora Link has a very epic collar thing going on. That's a good look. And the biggest change, and the thing I think people complain about the most about the remake, is the swimming. So this is what Zora's swimming used to look like on the old game, just generally. But on this one, we need to, unfortunately, we need to use magic to do it, and then we get this really kind of slow and sad swim. It is the only thing that I really, really dislike about the remake. Everything else I'm quite happy with. That, though, is painfully slow. So if you've ever, again, a lot of people I imagine have played this game before, you have to go through this whole like underground sewer system. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to attempt another handy little trick. First of all, I'm going to dodge these fish though, because I don't want to die. Although I do have a fairy with me right now. You know, I don't think it'd be ideal. So I'm going to wait for this person to go by. I'm going to stand by here, transform into Zora, because I'm a leggier boy and therefore get more distance. Perfect. So that's called a mask jump. So I use the bombs to give me more distance. And then if I press the B button and the mask button at the same time, it puts Zora Link into like a falling animation, but it also gives me a little bit of height. And that height is enough to grab that railing. Which is what I wanted to do there. Need to Zora Boomerang that lovely lady. And then this one's going to have it even worse, because I'm just going to roll up and punch her in the back. You know, you break into someone's home and then you go around and start hitting them. It's not the nicest thing in the world. And I'm attempting to do another trick. Another time stop trick. Like the bomb time stop, but this time I'm going to use a bottle full of bugs to do it. Like that. So that's called a mask time stop. So on the first backflip, I pressed the mask button and then shielded whilst in midair. And that causes the game to store the value of the mask, but won't actually equip it. If I do it again and press the bottle, it tries to put Link into the forward bottle animation, but because you've got the mask stored at the same time, it kind of tries to do both. The end result is you get that first person view where you skip cutscenes at the end. And now I don't need those bugs anymore, so I just need this hook shot. Yeah, see, we're not even... Yeah, go on. Yes, that's true. So as you can see, we're not even an hour into the run. We've already got all the transformation masks. And now we're collecting the Zora eggs. And now I'm about to showcase my favourite glitch in the entire game. And many people's favourite glitch in the entire game. But in order to do that, I need the Goron mask. So, this little trick, I'm going to do it, and then I'm going to explain it. So that's called a Goron missile. If you're in the camera state, you can swap items round, and it'll like carry over the value from one to the other. And the value we want is the ability to use it. So one of the items I've got on X, I can use, and one of them I got on Y, I can't. It's important, the one I can't use is the hook shot, or the bow. The bow also works for this. If you do that, it lets you take out the hook shot as Goron Link. But because he's got no animation or anything, and he can't technically use it, if you then do a Goron missile, for reasons that I'm not entirely clear on, it causes you to just shoot off forward in the direction you were pointing, and with very, very quick speed. It is very rapid. You only need a tiny little bit of speed to get across a gap. Yeah, switch the items, I'll take a picture, tiny little roll forward, and we shoot all the way through. And I would say it's probably one of the easiest tricks to execute as well. Like, from that simple set of instructions, you could probably do it with not much practice. The only thing you really need to practice is not getting, like, any game-breaking glitches. And I'm going to do something that's worked well in practice every single time, so therefore I'm assuming won't happen in the marathon. I got to do a really precise score on missile. Right, thank you. Over to the last section. I told you it wasn't gonna work. I tried to double jinx it. I knew it was jinxed anyway. I don't think that's gonna work either. Let's see, it is a very, very, very precise.
Yay.
Second time. First try, first time, every time. So I'm just going to get rid of these bottle of fairies by here. And that's Pirate's Fortress done. I didn't have to fight a single pirate. All I had to do was just jump around their base, essentially. See, the other thing is it's night of the first day now. We've got 2.5 days and we haven't even entered a single dungeon yet. All you've done is collect some masks and get some eggs. So, you know, it kind of looks like it's going to be a bit difficult. And also, I'm estimating the time's probably about the 50-minute mark. And, you know, it's like, well, you've got, like, what, like an hour and 20 minutes? How are you going to do all the dungeons and the boss fight? And the answer is that it's going to be very, very quick once we do this last bit now. We'll get the 2 dungeon songs we need to enter dungeons. We don't need all 4. We can get into 2 of them without songs. We're essentially just going to blast all the way through them in about 40 minutes, I think. It takes to get through all 3. So there's the first 4 Eggos dropped off. That's a big fish! Every time I accidentally press A there and talk to the aquarium. Right. That's a lot of fish. So this one's another precise one. Yeah, first time. Earlier on I lost a minute and a half to doing that. A minute and a half to doing that earlier. I could not get the angle right. So what you're supposed to do here, casually, you're supposed to rescue a seahorse, and the seahorse will guide you through this. But obviously I memorized the route a long time ago. And I have to beat up 3 fishy boys. 3 long fishy boys who have stolen my Eggos. Thanks. No good, no good, no good. I deploy the Zora boomerangs slightly early there as well, which means they'll hit him as he's coming out. Now obviously, although there's 8 eels, I had to count then, 8 eels, you only need 3 of them. So I just need to remember which way they are. It's a good thing they're not like randomized each time or something.
See, I'm noticing something here. You were talking about earlier about like the animal masks and it being Star Fox and things like that. This is clearly the eels from Mario 64, right?
I imagine, you know, I would be shocked if they aren't. I'd have to look at the N64 and they're probably exactly the same template.
Like, even just the area and the thing that you're doing, it's like you're grabbing eggs instead of a star now.
I would much prefer eggs to a star. Stars are hot and difficult to contain, but eggs are delicious. Not these eggs. I wouldn't eat these eggs. I wouldn't eat these eggs. I need them to play a song for me. Musical eggs. Wouldn't you feel bad if you needed the eggs to get to the temple, but you'd already made omelettes? So, I'm now done with the bottles, which is nice, because I need the sticks and eggs back. Sticks and nuts back for the dungeons. But I will have 2 bottles because I never get the lens back, because I never need it. It is literally never used again in the run. But I think in all masks you only use it once to see the stone mask guy. I keep wanting to split. It's the speedrunner's curse. I keep being like, I want to do a split here, but I don't have my splits up. They look like those little jumpy frog guys from Pikmin now. I have no idea how long it took me to memorize that. Because it's not 3 notes sequentially, so it just it wouldn't stick. That guy's going nuts in the background. He's loving life. Look at him go! That was me at Download Festival 10 years ago. So now I have the song to get in the 3rd temple. I better go back and get the song for the 1st temple. That's what I'm going to do. Pick up some magic just in case. First of all, I'm going to pick up some water because it's very important to hydrate. And not at all because it's relevant later on. And then I'm going to get past this octopus with a very nice little Goron missile. And that way I don't need to do the boat cruise, which takes about 2 minutes. 2.5 minutes, I think, actually. It's slightly longer, because I accidentally did it in a run not that long ago. I do need to be sneaky again. They get out of the way, but I put the Goron mask behind them, and they don't care anymore. They're like, oh, it's not my problem anymore. Sneak past that. Come on, turn around. He spent ages there. He's like, I'm just looking at this wall. So ordinarily, on that bit, you'd have to... it's been so long I've done it since I've forgotten about it. You'd have to get magic beans from the magic bean salesman. Then you'd have to go through like this really complex pattern to go across a bunch of these platforms. But what you can actually do is you can just back hop onto that door and just do the last one. And you can also leave this early and get up here like that. Which means instead of spending about 5 minutes there, you spend about 1.5. I'm going to chat to the monkey who's about to be tortured for crimes he didn't commit. And I really hate that they moved it so that you had to scroll down there when they also put quick text in, because then you're doing quick text, but then you have to purposely stop to scroll down. Just punishing the speedrunners. I would love a counter of how many times I've accidentally selected no there. Because Link does this thing where he goes, no, and the monkey goes, ah, I'll try again. That's very exaggerated, because Link goes like, very, very exaggerated, especially because obviously he has a Deku as well. Okay. Okay. So I got the song for the 3rd temple. I now have the song for the 1st temple. If you played this game, you know there's 2 more I technically need to get into the 2nd and 4th temples, but I will never get them. Instead, there's alternate ways again in the dungeons. But unfortunately, those 2 dungeons you do need something to get in with. I'm now going to head back to Clocktown. I'm in the swamp, but I'm actually going to head back to Clocktown to get into the Woodfall area. because I can do something called a fairy fountain alternate exit. First one I'm going to save by here, because this can go wrong. First jobs first, I need to talk to these fairies. This is where all the difficult tricks comes up now in the next, like, half an hour. This is the bit where I'm like, oh, no. So I'm going to take a nice picture of that wall. And zoom me over. And I can't find the exit. Here we go. Really difficult to see in the dark, turns out. And I'm going to do another zoom over here. And that saves having to do like the whole like going round and wandering up the paths. Because what you're supposed to do is supposed to do like this really complex set of flower hopping. And in all dungeons we do actually do that. Because we don't get the hook shot. In fact, we don't even have the Zora mask at this point. We do the first dungeon, then I go back and get the Zora mask. I'm also going to get a second Deku stick here, just in case, because I very much do need them. And this is one of those blinky you might miss it moments, because I'm going to go over, I'm going to get the bow, and I'm going to do Aldawa. And on a really good run, you can do that in about 5.5 minutes. Maybe quicker. So first one, I'm going to zoom me across this room. No, I'm not. And ordinarily you'd have to go like all the way around the dungeon to get to this point, but instead I'm just gonna zoom me across there and go straight in and get the bow. And that cuts unknowable amount of time off. I have no clue. I know you can do this dungeon with all fairies in about 9 minutes, but that involves getting the bow this quickly and then going and doing all the fairy stuff. And then I'm going to attempt to do a boss key skip. So I'm going to concentrate on... Yeah, I'm going to concentrate on some... Just immediately, like, ruined. I'm going to concentrate on a second. Ha 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 ha! First time. So that is the Aldawa boss key skip. Essentially, I can use those flowers have a tiny little ramp on them, and that tiny little ramp with a good angle is just enough to get enough speed to get up. And once you're above the dungeon limit, you fall back down into the highest room, and the highest room here is the boss room, which is always loaded, because the entire dungeon is always loaded whenever you go into it. I'm just going to very quickly dispatch that guy. I can't believe I got that first try. That's a very difficult trick to get. That's probably the result of like 20 or 30 hours of practice on like this entire dungeon alone, alongside like queuing runs. So before I beat this guy up, I'm going to play the song a double time, because I need it to be the second day for the next bit. And it's easier to do it here, because in the boss room, you don't get any like transitions. If you go somewhere else, it plays a bit where like the screen goes dark and it goes dawn of the second day and tells you what time remains and such like. Whereas if you do it in a boss room, it just goes to like that point and just brings up the banner. And now we have another 2.5 minutes of cutscenes. If you have any messages you'd like to share with us, Mr. Host?
We do indeed. We've got a really important one here. I think you may know who it's from. We have a $30 donation from Rick McLeod. Says, push fish, take face. 'Tis the red panda way.
That's what we're famous for.
Apparently so. But thank you very much for your donation there. Remember, folks, we are fundraising here for Gate. All your donations will be heading over them. Founded in 2009 by Eustace Icefield and Maro Cabral Grinspan. That's a wonderful name. They are the only international organisation focused on issues relating to gender identity, gender expression, and sex characteristics. So all your donations are going to be helping them fight for our LGBTQIA+ friends. So please do give generously and check out the incentives we have available as well. Also, Oath to Order is phenomenal. Not that version.
Oh my god.
Or that one.
I'm a professional. I have like 100 hours speedrunning this game, I promise. I know. I think what happened on the first time is because my DS was resting on my lap. As I did the last note, I must have pushed down. I must have triggered the R button as I was doing it, and that threw me off because I was like, "How did I do that?" But it makes sense because when I looked down and realized when my DS was resting, I was like, "Oh yeah, I've probably did that myself." So at this point, the route gets kind of weird because different people do different things. So some people go and do the Stone Tower Temple next. Some people do Gaiorg next. I'm going to go do Snowhead next. It's not the most optimal route, but I really dislike the trick for getting into Snowhead, and I like doing it early. Just as a little tidbit of what to look forward to, because it is genuinely awful. They definitely tried their best to make sure you wouldn't sneak into Snowhead without the song. I'll give them that. Those folks at Grezzo tried very hard. Grezzo's the people who remade this game. This is context. They also remade the Ocarina of Time remake. They did Link's Awakening on the Switch, and they also did a Luigi's Mansion for the 3DS. Which is not my favourite version, to put it lightly. This is where Tattle apologises for, you know, stealing your ocarina and stealing your horse. Which was a bit mean, I'll be fair. So we're going to swap those twos around for reasons that will become apparent soon. So now I need to get into Snowhead, which is not the most fun in the world, because there's a dude trying to blow you off. One breezy boy. I found it, it's fine. And the reason why I needed to warp today is because in the night, there's these little, like, ghost dudes on this bit who knock you off for fun. So what I'm going to do here... Nope. So what I'm tempted to do is I'm tempted to do another mask storage. Much like I did for the first person. But this one lets me move around freely, but actors no longer interact with me. Specifically, the actor that is blowing me off the cliff. Actually, I don't trust that. I'm going to wait for the other one. I could have made that. So that's getting into Snowhead without the song, and it is... That bit is very stressful with the snowballs. I've been knocked off so many times. So many countless times. So I'm going to get straight to Goth. Here. I'm not going to get fire out. Really? I did not care for that. So I'm going to do a trick here. It's going to become very relevant very soon. To get a free fire arrow. So that trick is very weird, very difficult to explain. But by essentially, I can do quick put away, which means my bow stays in my hand, and then when I pull out a Deku stick, it thinks the Deku stick is lit for some reason, and then I can fire a lit arrow essentially. And if I stand in a really precise point, I can hookshot up to the second level. And then I have a ramp here, so guess what's going to happen? I'll give you 100 billion point... Oh. 100 billion points if you can guess what I'm going to do now.
Are we going to the moon? Yes.
I think I went too far there. I think I went too far. Where am I?
I mean, it's a glorious trick. I can see why it's your favourite. I'm loving this.
Well, see, I might have gone too high, which might be a problem, because the last time I did this, I fell for 2 minutes and realised I wasn't going to get in. It was too powerful. Yeah. I'm going to do that again. Because if you build too much speed there, you have to fall for so long. Last time I gave up at 3 minutes, for context. So yeah, I get to do that again now. Unfortunately, that ice reforms when you reload the game. Okay. The speed cutoff is so close. Oh god, I'm not even showing up on the map. Where am I? Let's see if I could, because I might still trigger the thing. Because normally you get like, you can still see me. If you have a look on the bottom screen, you'd still be able to see me. Yeah, I have no clue where I am. It's fine, it's fine. This is why we have an estimate. Yes, absolutely true. Run over the wolf. My temptation, if I mess it up again, is to go get fire arrows. This is the first time. There we go. Right, so you can see I'm like barely outside the range now. As I fall, I'm just going to set an alarm. I need to get up at 6 o'clock in the morning on the final day, just so you know. And that's the boss key skip. First time. First try, that was. First try, it was amazing. I can't believe I got that first try. And now I'm going to fast forward to the third day. And that'll trigger the Tattle alarm, and I can use Tattle the same way I used that save station downstairs. Save station, like it's Metroid. To get a fire arrow. I don't think there are any Metroid Easter eggs in Metroid games, to be honest with you. So this is Got, who is one of the most fun bosses. He's very difficult if you don't have powered up arrows. Unfortunately, it's the one thing I really sacrifice time on with this route. And it's one of those, you either do it in about 4 minutes, and you're like, oh, that's pretty good. Or it takes you like 10, and you're like, oh, right, okay, whatever. Okay. Oh. That was less than ideal. Just gonna hit him. No. That will though. Comes in a very precarious position there. You know what? I don't think he was. I think that's why he ran off. You know what? That's a fair point. Okay. I don't know why you got up. I think this first arrow is going to kill him as well now. It's a lot easier with light arrows to do that. It's a lot easier to knock him down. But I like the hard life. I don't even think how much time I lost to do the boss keys every 3 times. It's okay, I got a PvP yesterday. I got a PvP yesterday, it's fine. That'd be amazing. There's actually a way of skipping this bit of the cutscene, but it involves, again, a lot of frame perfect pausing. And we don't want to do that too much, because sometimes the game crashes for fun. Just for fun. I don't think I've ever had it happen to me on a streamed attempt. I've had it happen in practice runs. I saw it happen to Gymnast during a stream run. Now. Now the Gorons are no longer chilly. So next up is George, or Georg, or whatever you want to call him. The temple boss I can never beat as a kid on the normal Majora's Mask. I just incapable. Just could not beat him. I never got to Stone Tower Temple as a kid. I only ever read about it. It was only when I think I must have been a fairly young adult. It must have been like 17, 18 when I actually finished the game. I think I used cheat codes as well, actually. I can't remember properly anymore. It's been a while. It's been a good few years. You. So we're going back to Great Bay Coast. I just realised I equipped the. I need to equip the hookshot there like that. And then I'll do a marathon save. I don't think there's anything that could go wrong here, but that's the exact kind of thing you save for something you didn't think would go wrong went wrong. What I'm going to do here is just do that and grab a fairy. And that's literally just for safety. I'll grab this one and I'll grab another fairy later on, so that for the final 2 boss fights I have some backup. Wise, thinking with my head. Are those eyes on? We have another set of nice long cutscenes. In fact, we've got 2 cutscenes in a row here. Because we do the first one where it's possible to skip this one again, but I didn't really want to try it in the marathon because it involves a lot more frame perfect pausing. A lot of frame perfect pausing. And if you thought the Great Bay boss key skip was... the other 2 boss key skips, practically ages long compared to the one in this dungeon. Well, the one in Snowhead was, we won't talk about that anymore. Because we could do another boss key skip in this dungeon, and we can do it immediately as soon as we enter. The only one that's really a problem is the Stone Tower Temple, because we need to go get light arrows. Oh, now would be a great time to talk about wrong warping. So in this game, wrong warping, we use in every other category apart from 100% this one, and glitchless obviously. If you duplicating over an item replaces the item with a bottle. But you can duplicate over masks as well. We don't do it here because we don't need to duplicate over masks because we need the masks that we get. But in all dungeons, for example, we specifically go and get the Gibdo mask. The Gibdo mask has a very weird property, in that if you dupe over it and get a bottle, and then use the bottle to catch hot spring water, it sets time to go ridiculously fast. I'm talking like the game will crash the moon in about less than a minute fast. You know, it's pretty quick. But if we stand in a very specific location and then do it, we actually... Is that going to work? No, it isn't. We actually get a new day warp, and that'll take us to specific areas. So we use 2 in a row to get into the Got and Gyog fights. Perfect. It's a very cool. I think Gymnast did it at GDQ one year. If you ever go look at it, because it's so cool that you go do the Stone Tower Temple, you get like this really weird time situation where time is no longer showing up, but time is passing, and it says it's like morning of the second day when it's actually the third night. You stand in a really specific place, you just turn up in the boss arena, and we do that twice in a row. You can see me turning my DS then to get the angle. Oh boy, are we glad it did. So stage 1 of George, Gyog, is pretty straightforward. We just use arrows in water, which I'm pretty sure doesn't work. To be honest with you, I'm pretty sure water would, stop it. The second phase, though, we have to go into the water, we have to go after him. Unfortunately, it's completely RNG based, because we need him to stop in front of a mine, and then we need to put the mine in his mouth. For context, earlier on, I had a run where I lost a minute to this. Because sometimes he just doesn't stop in an area that is handy. No, he's doing there. Yeah, very nice of them to do that to us. Ooh, that one's a bit close. So we need to do that to him, basically. We need to break the mine. He swallows it. His eye comes out of his mouth, which is probably hurts, Yeah, stop it there. Stop it there. Yes. Good boy, Gyog. Good boy. Good fish. Ow. If he stops very far away from a bomb, it can be a bit difficult because you have to do that and then hope you get over to him in time. Oh, it worked. Cool. Do that, and that's Gyog them. I said that's either that or the first dungeon, or the quickest dungeons in the game, in terms of doing everything and then getting out of dodge. And then we warp away. So now we need to do Stone Tower Temple, which is the last one we do. In order to do that, we're going to do another Fairy Fountain escape, but this time from the Fairy Fountain in Great Bay, and we'll just go straight over to the Stone Tower. And we need to go through that and get light arrows, so you do actually see a fair bit of that dungeon, and you also get the best dungeon theme in all of Zelda, by far. Although, I think I would probably make a case for the Colgera fight scene in Tears of the Kingdom. That's an excellent song. It's a shame the All Dungeons category for that game is enormously long. Quick save here. I'm going to throw a pot in the water for fun. Land on the platform. Yes, okay. I don't know why that only blows up the one rock normally. Very weirdly small trigger for it. Okay, if you've played this game before, then you'll know what you're supposed to do here is you're supposed to go into Icana Castle, defeat the skeleton dude there. The dude what is a skeleton. Get the Elegy of Emptiness and use that to climb the tower by stepping on specific switches, playing the Elegy to create like platforms to walk up and across. I'm not going to do that, partially because I don't have the Elegy of Emptiness, but also because it's enormously slow. And in fact, in the 100% speedrun, we actually do this first and then go get the Elegy afterwards. So instead what I'm going to do is I'm going to go here, and there's a ramp behind me. Take a guess what's going to happen. It is possible if you get way too much speed there, you actually go past the moon. It's quite funny actually. That's the one place where you can really like... That and Clocktown, you can use a Goron missile and you can go to the moon and fall through it. And you see like just the other part of the face from the inside. Very disconcerting. So yeah, I'm in Stone Tower Temple now. Here's a weird one. There's a light block here. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to water it like a plant. Which is why I called the spring water like 40 minutes ago. And it gets rid of it.
Aww.
No clue why it works. Yeah, that's why you never hydrate. You might disappear. Do a little fishy swim up there. Get the small key. And if you don't move, but jump in the water, it takes you back to the room entrance, which is a lot quicker than swimming through and jumping back up. And I'm going to attempt to use a Goron missile to go past a light block. And it's another one where the angle is actually quite precise, and the speed needs to be quite precise as well. But we can get it first time, so you know, that's good. I don't know what you mean, I've gotten all of them first try. Because ordinarily you're not supposed to be able to go through that room without the light arrows. You're supposed to do a lot more... Oh, you're supposed to use the mirror shield, sorry. You're supposed to use the mirror shield to get through that room. And then you get the light arrows, and that lets you get rid of those blocks anyway. But obviously I don't have the mirror shield because I don't need it. And the Garrow Master, which is a real struggle till you know how to handle him. And that is, I'm just going to roll at him. Like this. So now I'm allowed to invert the tower. I don't need items yet. I'm going to go to the inverted tower temple, which is... Normally you'd have to like flip between the two, solve some puzzles, defeat 2 bosses I think actually, and get the boss key. Can you guess what's not going to happen? We're going to do an out of bounds trick instead and fall down, because the boss trigger for this game is actually goes down rather than up. So rather than go up, where we actually fall down into the boss trigger. But first of all, I can kill that. Oh my god, I need magic. You see, now the 3-day thing is starting to look a little bit safer because I'm currently on the 3rd day, not even the 3rd night, and all I've got to do is get into the boss chamber and beat him up, basically. And I'm actually going to be like way too far ahead for that, so I'm actually going to have to play the song a double time and go forward to the night so that I can go straight to the boss fight. Right, this it's not often this goes wrong, but you know. Okay, good. So if you look again where my bottom screen is, you can see my little arrow moving across the screen. I'm aiming for the center of the map. I'll set my arrows now ready. Because you can actually control the direction in which he falls, which is very lucky, or it'd be a lot more difficult to do this. And you hit the boss trigger. They're so pretty. So I need to hit his eyes in. The normal method is literally just spam arrows till you hit him down, really. Like that. Because you get arrow refills so easily in this boss arena, there's no point worrying about it. Ugh. I didn't like that. You're not wrong. So I'm going to try and use light arrows to knock this guy down like that. And that way he stops bothering me in this phase. Oh my god. And he hit me anyway. What a pleasant thing he is. Let's go straight towards me, isn't it? And there's one. So this fight on the remake kind of has a bit of a reputation for being much longer than most people would like. And there's a few reasons for that. One is that they gave him much more health than they should have. So they put 2 boulders in the arena, and throwing the boulder at the red worm knocks him down. And then you can do damage to him. But you need to knock him down many more times than that, which was a bit cruel of them. Gonna forward time quickly. I'm gonna take it to like 11 o'clock just to be a bit safer. That should be plenty. We should cross over to midnight then whilst we're doing the boss fight. And the second one is they didn't publish the fact that if you spin the control stick whilst you're throwing the enemy, it does more damage. So casually you do it in like 4 or 5 attempts, whereas in the speedrun we can do it in 3. I have no clue why they put that in and why they didn't give any hint or any information about that being the case. I don't even know how we worked it out as a community, but we know now. become a large lad. I missed one too many times, I have to go for the thing. See, I need to hit him 10 times, and I missed 2 or 3, and I'm like, well, there's no point trying to recover it. Just use the boulder, get him down. Because otherwise we add much more time than we need to. So yeah, just spinning the control stick there constantly does help and do a lot of damage. He's going to pop out and do... oh, the wormy thing. Grim. I need to keep an eye on him now, because I do need to hit him out. See, glowing red there means I knocked him down successfully. Spin the control stick. Whamageddon. Seems to be one flamey boy. Hey. I can get rid of these things now to stop them. I would say stop him knocking the boulder out my hands, and I thought he was about to do it then. I was like, typical, really. And that's the last temple boss done. So now we just need to do the moon. Le moon. So yeah, all that in one cycle is definitely nice to do. You know, don't mess about with saving the world and all that. Well, I think in 100%, I think I do it in 4 cycles now, something like that. Okay, put that magic quickly, because I'm going to need it for the final boss fight. And we've got 2 very long cutscenes coming up. We've got this cutscene coming up now. And then, very famously, the moon cutscene, which is, I believe, 5 minutes long. I want to say. Yes. Yeah, it is, you watch the giants very slowly walk up. This game was definitely more minded towards, like, the impact of the story, which is fine. But I've been impacted by the story, and now I just want to get through it. And now they're sad. The giants were friends with the Skull Kid before he, you know, started stealing stuff. Which is why they're very upset, and why their last message is forgive. Which is very, very heartwarming if, you know, I hadn't skipped all the text and you'd actually read it. Yeah, and unlike the other areas are really obvious. Like, you know, you stop the sea being polluted, you warm up the snowhead, you stop the water being poisoned again in Woodfall. This area, they're like, you make the sky pretty. Problem solved. You made the sky pretty. Sky's pretty now. Don't they setting them off around here? I know it is about the Welsh valleys and people being like, I love fireworks. Constantly, I've got to set off fireworks. If I jumped off the side of the tower, then I would have laughed a bit and also kind of cried. Internally, I would have cried. Oh, thanks. It's that reassuring attitude, which is why I'm glad you came on as a commentator for me, Rick. Right, so he speeds up the moon coming down. I don't actually know what happens if you leave it too long. I presume he just, you know, goes sploot. Hey, I played it right this time, though. So we've got a very nice long cutscene now, so if you've got any messages from the host before we get into the final boss fight.
We do indeed. We have a $50 donation from Ruddy Jess with no comment there, putting it towards our Suwako-chan Cubic Auto Bombs Only challenge. We're currently at $110 out of the $250 that we need for that. Still plenty of time, but we are well on track, just like this run as well. And to answer your question, I think if you leave it too long, it just ends the game with a bad ending.
Yeah, because there's when you do the wrong warp for Gyog, for any percent, you don't slow the timer down, and what frame you catch the water bottle on for the timer, because the timer's on, like, it's the CPU cycle of the DS it's against. It depends how quick the time goes, and what can happen, and I've had it happen on several of my runs, is if you do it too quick, the cutscene for Gyog happens too quickly, and it crashes the moon and sets you all the way back. So you either have to safety save before Gyog, or if you're just going for it, then you just go for it and just assume the run's lost if that happens to you. Because the first time it happened to me and I was very confused, so I asked in the community Discord, I was like, how do I stop this happening? And they were like, you don't. It just happens sometimes. You just have to basically, and it's the last thing you do in the run as well. It was like, my run's what, like an hour and 40 minutes, and you do it like the 1 hour 20 mark before you go into the final fight. So it's not, you know, without risks.
Game is
Yes.
up enough for your shenanigans and just goes, no, I'm crashing the moon.
Get up. Yes, since I have some time now, just want to say thank you very much for having me on. It was an honour to not only come on, but come on and be the first runner. I hope that it's been a very interesting run for people. It's definitely a game I don't think gets a lot of attention because it's a little known remake and the main game doesn't probably get as much attention as its sister in Ocarina of Time. But I definitely think it's got a lot of really interesting stuff. Some stuff that you can do casually. Goron Missile is really easy to do casually. Just pick up and do. And it makes the game infinitively more interesting to just zoom about the place. I hope it's been enjoyable. And I hope I don't have to run this category again, because doing the Zora eggs gives me pain.
Yep, on to 100% from now on.
I'm debating with myself if I want to stream 100%. My last run was 7 hours 45 minutes, but I lost half hour at the end. Because I messed up one bit really badly and I had to go back and refight Gyog just to get one heart piece. And the moon puzzles are quite difficult to do when you want the heart pieces as well. So yeah, shocker, Majora's Mask is alive. And if you wear it in Tears of the Kingdom, the enemies don't attack you. Very handy.
Funny that.
Handy. So I'm going to go into the final boss now. It's a very tricky final boss. I think of all the speedruns I've done, it's the hardest final boss. By a significant margin. I think it was Pikmin 3, which was also very unforgiving.
Yeah, the second and third stages on this boss can be very, very tricky.
Yes. Which is why I've got 2 fairies as backup, so, you know, we should be okay. And I'll save before we go in as well.
First try, we got it. First try.
First try. And I'll have to call when timing ends, because timing end is really awkward in this game. You have to hit the enemy 20 times. So we can count them if you like, but if I mess it up then, but you lose count and then you're like, oh, I think I've ended. I'll try and make it as easy as possible. So the first phase, we just knock him out of the air, and then hit it with a light arrow. We do that twice and the other masks wake up, which means that it's possible I get hit, which can cause several issues. They are very annoying. Okay, phase 1. Good that I didn't get stun locked. Phase 2 can stun lock you to death, which is very nice when that happens. Always appreciate it when that happens. So the first thing I'm going to do is all the little masks floating around, I'm going to knock those out first, because those can force you to be stun locked as well, and I don't really want that to happen. Yeah, that's the ability that stun locks you. And I'm gonna run around quickly now and grab some arrows of magic. Where's the other part? Thank you. Oh no, that was more.
There's more arrows.
I don't think I need magic anyway, but you know.
We got magic now. It's all good.
So I'm gonna try and do. I was gonna say I was try and stun lock him, but clearly I didn't. Like that. Unfortunately, it's really difficult to spin the stick on the 3DS circle pad. Okay,
Not
on
a
to
bad
phase 3.
second. Yeah.
So I need to hit this guy 20 times with Goron punches, and I can stun lock him. And on the 20th punch, he will die, and that will be the end of the run. Obviously, how well that goes is up for interpretation. Like that. That was 5. And he can just, stun lock you. Five again.
It's 10.
12. Time. Unfortunately, it got away from me a few times. I've a few runs in a row now. I've managed to get 20 in a row, which feels very good when you get it. And we blew up the moon. The moon. We don't need a moon anymore. It's gone. Done. No more moon.
The moon is going back to space.
I'm thinking of Sonic Adventure 2, where the moon splits in half and it's just Eggman's face. Is it Sonic Adventure 2 or Adventure 1 I'm thinking of?
Oh, you're right, Adventure 2.
Also, as I watch it on the TV screen, I haven't played that game in ages.
That's where he's come to make an announcement.
Oh yeah. Gosh. Here you go. What was the final time?
Having a look when to catch up there, that is 1 hour 54:27.
That's pretty good actually, considering how badly Snowhead went. That probably would have been pretty close to my PB.
Just as a conservative thing as well, if you took out the cutscenes, you'd be looking about at least half an hour off.
Oh really?
There's that many.
At
Wow,
least
that is
half an
incredible.
hour.
That is simply incredible. Yes,
Yeah.
that's Majora's Mask 3D in 1 hour 54 minutes, apparently. I said thank you very much for having me. I hope you enjoyed. Trans rights are human rights.
Indeed, fantastic, fantastic charity, fantastic group of streamers coming up. Please support the stream. It's been fantastic to be here. Thank you very much for having me as well.
And thank you very much both for joining us. It's a great opening run here. Skull Kid is back to his usual self, so we all get to say cheerio as we are going to get ourselves set up for our next run. We're going to head over to intermission as we're going to get ourselves set up for the Little Gator game.